So we both read this article in the cut called "Would It Be or It Must Be Nice to Be a West Side Girl?"
Yes, one of us read it very quickly under time constraints, and the other read it under luxurious, free leisure time.
I read it in my East
you
Harlem
decide
villa.
whose opinion is better and who read at which speed.
But the premise of the article basically is like there's a new class of individuals who are now famously, we were saying the West Village is like normally a bohemian haunt. Like it's the location of Greenwich Village, and despite a lot of the developments that have happened, like it's been seen in some ways to keep the kind of cobblestone grit of the Beat generation who initially moved there. That's what.
That's the thing, though. Like, actually, it's funny because at the end of the article, it does say that like that neighborhood had essentially been cleaned up, and ripe for nepo babies to come in, and just it's almost like a Connecticut suburb at that point. It's so posh, it's so clean. It's ripe for that sort of seed to be plowed into that field, if you like. If you're a farmer, you appreciate that. But if you're not, you might find it offensive.
The fields are fallow, and we must lay the seeds. The field. Well, I guess fallow is not. Fallow means like not
fallow.
right. Fallow means like not right. Fallow is like when you till a field, and you actually have to wait to turn the field over one more year because for some plants they I don't know how to say it. They take all the nutrients out of the soil, so you have to wait for a year. So the field is fallow.
Oh,
so it's not dead. It's just you have to wait for the nutrients to replenish.
Right.
The thing is like the article focuses on this archetype of a new individual called not a new individual.
No, it's one we've seen before.
It is one we've seen before, but she comes in many different flavors, or he comes in many different flavors across
but only
time.
One color of hair.
Blonde. Always blonde.
I love that the article, like... and there was one brunette.
Yeah, exactly. They're always described as, like who, Rob, in your opinion, before we kickstart, like, the conversation on the West Side, like, who is your archetypal, based on what you've read and what you've seen? Because you're... somebody, you've grown up in New York.
A Jew. Yes.
Yeah, you're a Jew.
Yeah.
You have a natural sort of knee-jerk response to blonde hair.
Yeah.
No, but, like, you have grown up in New York, ostensibly, for a lot of your life. You've seen some of the changes. Who is the West Side Girl? Do you feel like this corresponds, what's in the article? Who's the West Side Girl in the article? Do you feel like it corresponds to archetypes you've seen before?
I mean... I don't think that honing in on like a physical type is necessarily useful because it's really more like a lifestyle / like economic affinity thing. Like I went to private school, as you know, and it was a little awkward because like the people I went to school with are like crazy rich.
Yeah.
Like, I went to school with, I got, like, I think maybe, well, Francis McDormand and, one of the Coen brothers. Yeah, their adopted kid was in, like, 2 or 3 grades below me.
Damn, okay.
Ben Stiller was an alumni.
Oh!
I saw him once. My homeroom teacher or whatever.
What did he look like? Was he cool?
I don't know. He held the door for me as I was going in.
Whoa! Yeah, Ben Stiller's my doorman. Yeah, that's what you're saying. You hear that, Ben? You hear that?
But yeah, I thought that was cool. What was my point? But anyway, it's just like
growing up with, it was just
the wealth gap was pretty insane, and I guess I didn't really like have a meaningful acknowledgement of it at the time because I was
You don't have any perspective on it.
I had zero
probably.
perspective on it. Like, I just kind of assumed everyone was in a similar situation, but and there were other kids like me, but it was you know, obviously, like, well, it was like one of our friends was like this guy whose dad was like this big powerful attorney, lived in Trump Tower, is like would throw Mac laptops from one end of his room to the other if he was like sad, or just like crazy wealth disparity.
Well, and like,
sorry, to answer your question though,
yeah,
is there like
is there
type?
a pre-existing archetype?
Yeah, there is definitely a type, and it's just like you like, people always think about like a child that you never say no to, but you can really do that at any economic level. It's more about the scale. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like if you're starting out your life as a child of Manhattan dwelling parents on, say, like the Upper East Side or in Tribeca or on the Upper East Side or something, like you are literally at the top 1.5% of life, you know? And so, like, no to you would mean, like, no, you can't vacation on the moon this summer. You know what I mean? It's, like, totally different from saying no to, like, no, I can't afford to send you to music camp if you grew up in the South or something.
These are people who, like, the West Side girls or the West Side people are the types of people who would, like...
It's not just girls. I mean...
It's not, but the West Side girl is the archetype because, like, in the article basically describes, right, like, these people who move to the West Village in Manhattan, which for anybody who doesn't know is like one of the lowest parts of the island of Manhattan.
Hence the lower part.
And these are people who famously, like, would be like, oh, I don't go anywhere above 14th Street. That would be the stereotype. And
Right.
And for anybody who doesn't know, like, I live on 103rd. I live on 103rd and East.
I live in Washington Heights.
You live in Washington.
Across the river.
Yeah, you live on the canal side of Washington Heights. And like, these are people who their whole life of New York is literally within a 14 to 30 block radius of the lower parts. And the lower parts over the past decade, like, I was looking at this, and like, I just have some notes I want to read off. So
right.
Sorry, that's
I'm gonna eat
so
some peanuts
bright.
if that's okay.
So basically, like, on the Lower East Side of Manhattan recently, there have been more $30 million plus deals made in the past 5 years than in the previous decade for real estate. Over $1 billion in 20 million plus properties have been sold in like 10 years in the lower parts of Manhattan. And the whole thing about these Upper West Side girls, like as typified in the article, which you can read in the cut, they're going to charge you, so be careful. But
yeah, I saw that.
The whole thing with the upper, or with the West Side, the West Village girls, is that they all hang out around the draw for them is not exploration. It's not, oh, I'm seeing different parts of the city.
Right. It's not bon vivant as one knows it.
This is not the Bob Dylan or the Beat Generation. This is not the rowdy gays of the 1970s. These are... Well, I mean that in the best way possible. Like,
no, I know what you mean. I know.
But
I was just trying to be like a little bit of a foil.
Yeah. How
a bit
dare
of a dick.
You? Well, they like that.
They do like that.
No, of course. I don't know what they like.
That's nutty.
But
yeah, go
ahead. These people come in and it's like, it is like, it literally, like the scene from Attack of the Clones, the Star Wars prequel Attack of the Clones, where it's like Obi-Wan and the Kaminoan clone army engineer are looking out over the vast like troop bay where the clone troopers are marching in formation already made. It's like we didn't even, like Obi-Wan at the time is thinking like we didn't even ask for these to be made. But like that's the West Village girls, is like they are just all perfect clones of each other. Most of the time they wear some combination of a puffer vest, a white t-shirt, or a full Aritzia like bodysuit. They'll wear leggings. They wear denim, baggy denim jeans with white sneakers and like a white or a black t-shirt.
Read that quote properly. The Aritzia one.
That's Caitlin.
That's a Caitlin.
That's a Caitlin observation.
I just
You're
wanted
right.
to point
You're right.
that out. But
And
it is funny because in the article they do refer to themselves as the plastics without the meanness.
they say the plastics without the meanness,
I'm like,
but that's
yeah,
basically
the
like
the
saying
clone troopers also are the plastics without the meanness.
you can literally imagine some like rich West Side Girl dad looking out over on a balcony, like watching these girls march like to
Very good.
it's like magnificent.
Oh,
With a million more well on the way. You know, like, and that's ultimately the problem is like this article is basically advancing this idea that in a place of former bohemianism, in a place of former artistry, creativity, a hotbed of, to a degree in some cases, revolutionary or rebellious thought, that a different form of life has now moved in. The West Village, you know, that's where the meatpacking district is. And there are no longer blue-collar workers working in the meatpacking district. I mean, all of those places have been turned into luxury high-rises, or they've been rented out by...
Hashtag from blue collar to blue blood.
From blue collar to blue blood, son.
Ooh. Son?
But,
what was that?
But it's
What
true.
Did you call me your son?
Blue collar to blue blood, son. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I have a dad, but I don't know who he is.
I'm so confused,
Papa,
but I'm excited.
Is that you?
No.
Papa.
No. But that's the ultimate thing about the article is like it's describing this group of young women who are in their early to late 20s.
Yeah.
And their whole life, as far as their Instagram stories would lead one to believe, revolves around cheeky Aperol spritzes at brunch, getting a nice and
it's
espresso.
not one-dimensional.
It's not. You can get either or, and then a nice little lunch somewhere or a run maybe, and then you go for like a guilty cocktail or a frozen yogurt on the weekend or whatever. And the idea being basically that
James,
like
it's the three drinker. Have you heard of this?
I only from this article, the three drinker.
I love that.
Which literally in Manhattan in the West Village will cost you $100 to drink three drinks. Like it will easily, 3 drinks will run you at the very least $60. And that's
People always make fun of me for showing up drunk to most things. But that is because it's called budgeting, baby. You do a little party at home.
You can't show up sober to a party in Manhattan or New York.
First of all, also, you're an asshole if you do that.
You are.
Second of all, you're an asshole. You're a big jerk to your wallet if you're going to go spend your money on getting drunk at an actual bar. Because that is just... I'm rubbing my fingers together to intimate the sound of gold.
Money, money, money.
Money, money, money. That is way too much money. And all that shit is absolutely watered down. The best experience you can have is making friends and drinking at their place.
But I agree.
Yeah, I know you do.
What I totally agree.
I know you do.
I know. But what we're typifying right now is like the absolute antithesis of the West Side Girl. The West Side Girl would not say that. The West Side Girl would say the best time you can have is actually going out to the name brand bar of the month.
Sure.
And you go with your girls, and you all look cute, and you all look, tight and nice. You take photos while you're there. and you maybe meet some guys who are in finance there, and nobody does anything too cheeky unless they want to, because obviously, girl, you live your life, girl.
But also, if you do, I mean, there were those complaints in that article, right, about how the Spaniard had gotten really raunchy suddenly.
Yeah, and
so I don't know if it's actually so tight and nice or whatever, or if it's loose and the goose is running wild.
I think ultimately these people like are literally, they are the, like, to use such a perhaps far outdated metaphor, they are the British colonists in a late stage India. I mean, they are.
Yeah, it's so funny,
you know,
that you say that. I actually had bizarrely the same thought. Like,
did you actually?
Yeah.
They're literally like, these are people, like, the thing is, the West Village has a personality, it has a culture, it has a style, and it's something that's evolved. And now you get a bunch of people, and, like, to paint the picture, the West Side Girl, like, let's paint a picture. The West Side Girl, as depicted by the article, is like a young, mid to late 20-something young woman who loves shopping at luxury brands. She loves green matcha. She loves getting Aperol spritzes or espresso martinis with her girlfriends. They might meet up for a cheeky little lunch or a dinner with their boys or boys that they know. And the whole reason they stay in this area, in this West Side area, is because a lot of these people are recent college graduates, and they love the fact that they can go to somewhere that is the New York TM life, but it's been curated for them.
You know what? That was actually going to be my main point, is like, and I don't think that the Raj was great or anything, but I think at least if you met someone at like a foreign, hey, like, you're fucking destroying this culture too, that's crazy, like, you have something exotic in common. You know, sort of like two Nazis at a death camp, like, that's
yeah, exactly. They really are like the commandants of the camp.
It's
yeah,
like,
they are.
Oh my god. You hate the Juden as well?
I love sending people to death.
I do too. I love when the handle goes down.
You're a very sexy
it's
girl.
Very sexy.
You're very sexy. I love the way that you made the typography for the wanted posters for the missing prisoners. Yeah, right? Yeah. Like marketing and finance girls.
Totally. But I was just like, these people are exploring their own country, and they're treating the most polished, most manicured neighborhood as like some kind of exotic playground.
Can I read something? Do you mind if I read? I've wanted to read this. Okay.
Give me your best voice, though.
Okay, I will. So basically, like, you know, I wrote this piece as part of a novel that I'm writing and will finish one day. But the idea basically is like it's writing about, or it's talking about, like, New York Bohemians, which are like the artists in New York or whatever. But I think that, like, the Bohemian class is connected to this, because whether or not those artists realized it, and I include the Beats in this, by moving in and making the West Village like a cool hangout spot, they fucked it. Because, like, you can't make something comfortable and expect real life to thrive there, because real life does not thrive in comfort. We crawled out of the primordial ocean not because we were comfortable, but because we wanted something else, because we were uncomfortable. And
careful, because you're treading on fascistic
ground here.
Attitude, yeah.
Well, I would say, like,
because I believe in. I mean, listen. Do you think, like, socialism is too complacent? Like, because that's the difference, right? It's like what the life that the people in this article are described as living is not comfortable. It's like cush. Like, everything has guards. Like, okay, if you want to drink at 2 p.m., feel free, because your only obligation is to drop a Insta picture or two today, if you're up for it. If you think you have it in you, can you take a picture of yourself? Yes, very good. You know, That's the life of a content creator. I
Is
guess.
that any different from fascism, though? Just like checking in with your face and making sure that everything's okay and everything.
No, but I'm saying like I don't know. These people obviously don't worry about fucking getting sick and not having someone to look after them. You know.
It's true.
If I fucking twist my ankle walking in the rain up to my work, I'm fucked. You know?
And make no mistake, these people don't care about those things. They don't.
No,
they
obviously.
They wouldn't, because
Yeah.
it'd be like, oh, if I get hurt, I can just have medical attention. Like,
That's the other thing too. Is this take on? I'm sorry, I cut you off though.
no. I was basically done. Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah.
Okay. Because like the thing that really chops me up, if you like, is that also the article takes pains to say that these people are like apolitical.
They're not.
But the thing is like, I don't know. I take issue with people who say that they're like centrist or apolitical, because I think it's impossible to be apolitical when you know something is happening and your opinion is no opinion, right? If you know that, for example, the Holocaust is happening, and you're like, well, I don't take a side on that, you know? I'm sorry, you're a fucking freak, you know?
Yeah.
If you, and I'm just gonna say it, if you're looking at the Israeli temperament, and you're looking at pro-rape rallies,
Intersection.
and you're thinking, what?
I said intersection.
I'm sorry, I'm just saying, like, I mean, and you don't, and your opinion is, well, you know, I think I need to educate myself more, or I don't know enough about the issue, and you're, like, on the side of the people who have pro-rape rallies. I don't know.
But that's the point, is that these people, like, they won't even think about that. Because for them, like, for these West Side girlies, and when I say girlies, I mean the guy, like, these West Side people, these West Village people, it's like, they don't consider, I know, I'm empty too. I'm gonna read this.
We need a little break.
We do.
A short one.
I'm gonna read this, if that's all right. Okay. So, I wrote this about New York Bohemians, and this is, like, from the book that I am writing. And,
What's it called?
It's called Herman and Hank. It's like a fiction.
Which one is the Jew?
Herman.
Right.
Yeah, Herman.
Herman? And the good Jewish name?
Herman Aaron Moisenstein. Yeah, dude.
Are you serious?
Yeah, for real.
Herman Aaron?
Do you know why Aaron? Do you know why Aaron?
Do you know
why?
Do you know why?
Because Aaron was... Dude, people don't realize this, but Moses supposedly had a stutter, like speech impediment, so Aaron had to speak for him.
Bullshit. I saw
multiple
the Prince
times.
of Egypt. He had no stutter.
Yeah, well, that's Hollywood, baby.
Oh,
that's
is
not
it?
The book. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
But I wrote this... So the reason I wrote this was because
It was animated, so it didn't take place in Hollywood.
You're right. I forgot
Idiot.
It wasn't made by Hollywood. It was
You're
made
so dumb.
in the ether that all animation gets made.
Exactly.
But I
Made by
wrote
the Japanese.
this talking about the New York Bohemians who
Eren-san,
I
you have a stutter.
I
You must
Eren-
speak for me.
They do not take me seriously for some reason. No! Oh no! Alright, hold on. I'm gonna read this. Alright. So this is all about New York Bohemians, which I'm writing this, and this is mainly geared towards the artsy-fartsy, dime square
You have to come back to that.
types of people. Well, we'll come back to it.
Okay.
But I do want to read this.
Sorry.
Do you want to go back to it right now? We can go back to it right now.
I need a little more
The
time.
idea of a Japanese Moses? Yeah.
Eren.
It's like, just get the words out,
I
Moses.
can't.
Hey.
I cannot do. Oh, dude, this is too.
It's like this guy's speaking a different language.
This is just for us. We
Yeah,
can't
this is,
do
yeah. I do want to read this, though.
Okay,
I do.
go for it,
Okay, so the New York Bohemians, and I wrote this, again, for, like... The reason I'm saying this is because I do believe that the art artistic collective that hold up in the lower side of Manhattan pave the way, whether they realize it or not, for these kind of like gentrifying yuppies who have now become the West Village girls and boys. And I think even though when I'm writing, what I'm going to read applies to like those phony artistic types, it applies to these people in general. So I'm going to read this.
But, okay, I want you to read it. Just something to keep in mind, just so that I get it out there. Don't you feel that it's inevitable that poor artists will live in a place that rich people will want to take over? So it's almost like not their fault.
It's
like pick the place that the rich people
not
want
entirely, but we could do something to prevent it. Like we could at least, like, it sounds really awful, but you could literally be like, you're not, if you're wearing like a puffer vest, you should not be in the West Village. Like,
Okay.
you know, like, but I'm gonna read this,
Okay,
and
go
we'll
for
see
it,
if
go
it
for it.
resonates at all. Okay. The New York Bohemians. Hank shuddered. Those soul-sucking, wannabe, leech, parasite, Warhol golems. Ghouls. Beasts, which slouched towards whatever Bethlehem had not yet suffered their revelation. They came slowly at first, like the first couple stars falling from heaven before a pandemonic meteor shower. You could make them out by their drawl, which sucked the air and the life, the very color, out of any room they opened their gaping, hollow maws. There was no telling between officers or enlisted men, which made it far more difficult to take out the leaders. But two classes of uniforms were clearly distinguishable. $500 clothes which were made to look thrifted, or obviously expensive clothes to show that they had, quote-unquote, made it. Made it as what? Artists, they would say. These leering jackanapes had the gall to call their rancid blogs and independent films so self-gratifying, Onan himself would call for modesty, this psychic jism art. They called themselves artists. Artists sent their wives letters writing in beautiful prose about how much they wanted to sniff their farts. Artists cut off their ears and got thrown in mental asylums. Artists mailed bombs to people stapled to manifestos. Artists put shotguns in their mouths after making love to a young man they swore they never would. Artists got belligerently drunk and fought each other in the streets until other artists had to come in and pull them off of each other. Artists bled, pissed, shit, cum, vomited, cried, wrote, painted, sang, carved, danced, and spoke and lived their craft on every stone they walked and person they met. They risked everything. They loved. These people were not artists. They were tourists in the countryside of human emotion, bourgeoisie of the soul. They spiritually and physically gentrified every place they colonized, then made money and reputations beating their breasts on the great shame of it all. Poisonous Janician hypocrites and sleeper agents of capital fascism. Artists were, above all, messy. They were alive and they bled for it. These people couldn't stand life. In another life, they'd be Disney adults, but because their fragile egos could only entertain one personality complex dedicated to theme parkifying the world, they were New York Bohemians. So anything below 14th Street was out. So that doesn't entirely apply, all of it, to... Sorry.
We should talk about that.
We should talk about that. I mean, that's pretty heavy. Do we want to take a break and then we come back? What do you think?
I think, first of all, we should do a refill.
Refill? A break?
Also, we should refill our hearts with glee.
Yes, we should.
And we're back.
And we're back.
For real, though. But we're going to refill our glasses. Our hearts are
Yep.
fine. be right back.
We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
And we'll be back, and we will be talking about why James's writing is up its own butt.
Oh, hey! My favorite topic.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Be right back.